Hello, welcome back. In the last video we managed to get some nice breadcrumbs working, but I left you with a little dilemma. And the dilemma was, well, what if you've got an instrument that appears in one category but then appears somewhere else, you know? And that was the vibe. Oh, by the way, I've just added another item here just to try and make it look more realistic, okay? I just headed on and assigned another item. It's no big deal, okay? But the vibe is, how do you deal with that, okay? Now, as I was saying, we managed to get some nice breadcrumbs working, so let's bring those back, shall we? Store items, view.php, here we go. And that's the vibe, thank you very much indeed. So if someone comes in via Fender Guitars, let's say, right, this is the Fender Guitars subcategory, and if they click into this, I don't want it to say stringed folk instruments, I want it to say Fender Guitars. Can you handle the vibe? I think you can. So, if we open up store items, we'll make this work and it's all going to be just fine. You can see that we are building up a breadcrumbs array with this generate breadcrumbs array thing, right? And all of the action happens on this get subcat ID, okay? In this particular case, we've got potentially two subcategories. We've got stringed folk instruments, this is a subcategory, and we've got Fender, this is a subcategory, okay? So we've got this thing for get subcat ID, and it does an okay job, but it's actually pretty far from perfect. And to make this perfect, I'm going to introduce a brand new variable that I'm going to call refer URL, okay? And it's going to equal $, and then an underscore, and then server. And we're using all capital letters here, and it's going to be HTTP underscore referrer, okay? Referrer, that's the vibe. And that's the refer URL. The refer URL is the URL that the visitor came from to arrive on this page. Look, I'm going to echo it out on the screen and then do a die statement. Check it out. See? So this is the refer URL. It's the coolest thing in the universe. Now we can take this refer URL, I'll just add it in here so we can see what's happening, and we can potentially remove all of this stuff and we can do some cool stuff. Let me show you what I'm talking about here, okay? So I'm going to say something like, I don't know, something like, oh gee, let's see, something like the previous, how about that? Previous URL equals, no, let's try something else. Let's call it the full, there we go, full cat URL, that makes more sense. Base URL, and then we're going to have that thing from site settings. Do you remember that? So we've got this, load, module, site settings. Do you remember the thing on site settings that was called item segments? Okay, I'll just show you that actually as a little reminder here. It was right here, and we had this vibe, get item segments. Remember that stuff? So we can say the item items segments is this site settings get item segments, okay? So the full cat URL is base URL, and then we've got this item segment stuff, and then we've got something else. Now check this out. If I echo out the full cat URL and hit refresh, now hold on a second, I've got refer URL still up here. I'll do a new line, okay? So we'll do one of those maybe, and if we hit refresh, okay, so it's building up the full cat URL, okay, something like that. Now actually it's just occurred to me that it's not quite the full cat URL, it's the, I don't know what we call this. It's the bit that we want to remove. Let's call it ditch this. Okay, ditch this stuff, because check it out. Now I'm going to do a little thing that says cat URL equals string replace. Oh gee, sorry, string replace, and we're going to look for that ditch this thing and replace it with nothing at all, and we're going to do that to the refer URL. So if we echo out the cat URL, it's going to say Fender guitars. Check this out. See, here it's here. So now all we need to do is check store categories, right? So I'll load up store categories. Let's do it up here. So this load module store categories, right? And I'm going to do a little vibe. Let me bring up store categories so you can see what's happening here. On store categories, there's a thing called get ID from cat URL. Now when we're talking about cat URL, I'm talking about this column, cat URL, okay? That's what we're talking about here. So check this vibe out. It's the coolest thing in the universe. I'm gonna say, let me just see. So that's get cat ID, right? So I'm gonna say subcat ID equals this store categories get cat ID from cat URL. Look, we've got a cat URL, right? Now, if the subcat ID is greater than 0, then that's the one that we want. I'm just going to return the subcat ID. Job done. Thank you very much. Okay, that's very cool indeed. So check this out. I'll do a little dice statement here, right? If we go on to the shop and we're on Fender guitars and we click here. Now hold on. I'll take this refer URL out here. Okay, let's just do refresh. I'll go back. Right, here we are, Fender guitars, right? So I'm clicking in. Look, Fender guitars. It knows that we came from Fender guitars. We go to folk instruments, stringed folk instruments. We click on it, same instrument, but look at the breadcrumbs. See? So the thing is now choosing appropriate breadcrumbs depending on where we actually came from. It's fantasticola. However, let's not celebrate just yet, okay? Let's imagine there was a link somewhere and it says click here. And let's imagine that this link led to this page. Check this vibe out, right? And this link, let's imagine it's on the home page. Here it is away down here, right? And if I click on this, well, check it out. I'm not coming from this thing here where everything all works out nice and fantastic. I'm not coming from this page here where everything's cool. I'm coming from this random page, you know? So if that's the case, then what I would say is else echo Houston, we have a problem. Okay, because if someone comes from somewhere else, let's say it's Google or Bing or Yahoo or some link, and they come straight onto the page, then Houston, we have a problem. Now, you may be saying, well, it's not that much of a problem. We can just reuse the code that we used before, right? Okay, so I'll go with that, right? We'll copy that. Here we go. And we'll just space up, okay? And we'll do that and chuck it in, okay? I'll even make it look nice and neat. Look, I'm going to take this out and I'll load it up maybe up here. So everything looks nice and neat. And here is the code from the past. Yes, thank you very much. Everything looks neat, and there you go, right? Problem solved. So if we click in from somewhere else, like the home page or Google or Yahoo, look, the breadcrumbs are here and everything is cool, right? Fantastic, well done. Well, actually no. Now I don't want to show off to you folks, but in the past, I've sold shops for, well, the record so far is $80,000. I want to show you folks the difference between an $80,000 shop and a $200 shop. Please pay attention. The code is going to be very easy, but the logic kind of can mess with your brain, okay? So give me your full focus for 5 minutes here. I want to show you something. You see, if someone comes in from somewhere else, such as Google or something, and they say, hey, this is a nice guitar, wow, I wonder if they've got any more guitars, let's have a look, oh, here we go. And they go here, they're going to say, man, there's only 2 guitars, this place is rubbish, and they're going to leave, okay? So when they come in and they just arrive somewhere like this, I don't want them to go to stringed folk instruments. I want them to go here and go, wow, look at all the glorious, glorious musical instruments. That's the reaction that I'm trying to get. Can you handle the vibe? Can you handle the vibe? So you may think that this is cool and that you can just use the old stuff, but actually I work to a whole different standard. I'm going to copy this stuff and I'm going to say right in here, I'm going to say subcat ID is this underscore get best subcat ID, and I'm going to get it for this item, okay? That's the vibe. And I'm going to make a brand new function. I'll bring this all up here. A brand new function, whoopsie daisy. Well, actually, I'll keep that in because it'll come in handy. A brand new function called get best subcat ID. Now, what on earth does that even mean? What is the best subcat ID? Well, I would say it's the subcategory that has the most items. That's the best subcategory. Would you agree? It's the best because it kind of looks cool. You go on the page and there's all items and everything looks kind of nice and it's a good vibe. So let's figure out the best subcat ID. I'll do a little comment so you can see what's happening, okay? So I'll just say figure out which associated subcat has the most items. That's exactly what we're doing here, okay? Does that make sense? Thank you very much indeed. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start off by using this little query here, okay? We're going to say store cat assign get where custom item ID is item ID. Fair enough? Does that seem fair enough? Okay, so now I'm going to loop through all of the potential subcategories. I'm now looping through them. These are all potential subcategories, right? There may be one, there may be, let's take that out. There may be one, there may be 2, there may be 10, but these are all potential subcats, okay? They're potential subcats, okay? So I'm going to loop through all of those, and there you go. And now I'm going to ask the question, how many subcats does this item appear in? Now, we could say something like num subcats for item equals, and we've got a choice. We could do something like count potential subcats, because that's an array, right? That's perfectly fine. Or we could say num subcats, oh I'm sorry, that would be plural, num of the subcats for item. We could say query num rows. Let me just get that right, actually. Yeah, that's right. We could say query num rows. Either of these two things work. It doesn't matter. I'll just go with the first one. Who cares, right? You with me so far? Does this make sense? Okay. So the vibe is, if the number of subcats for this item is equivalent to 1. That means the item only appears in one subcategory. Okay, so use this. And how do we use that? Well, we would say subcat ID equals, and then it's going to be potential subcats. Actually, it's going to be the first one, and we just return the subcat ID. So if we only have one row, look at this. If we only have one one subcat category that's associated with the item, look, we're all sorted. It's all plain sailing, okay? However, if we have more than one subcategory, right? So I'll just, to make this really clear, I'm going to say we only have, I'm going to say we have more than one subcat, and this is going to be the start, okay? And this is going to be the end. So, end. So everything in here is dealing with, we've got more than one subcategory. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, check it out, we've got an array called potential subcats. Can you handle the vibe? It's called potential subcats. I'm going to loop through that array of potential subcats. Okay, just like that, standard stuff. You've done this a gazillion times. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to say subcat ID equals value, just so you can see what's going on here, okay? So I'm looping through all of the different subcats. Now I'm going to say that the number of items, okay, the number of items in this subcat, the number of items is going to equal this, and then we're going to load up store cat assign, and check this out. On store cat assign, we have got a thing. I'll bring it right up so you can see it. We've got a thing on store cat assign which is called count where. We've got it all over the place actually. We use this everywhere, right? So I'm going to say store cat assign count where, and the vibe is I'm going to say count where the cat ID is equal to this subcat ID. Does that make sense? Okay, and now I'm gonna make up an array, or at least a kind of array pair thing, and I'll call this the num items count. Okay, it's going to be an array, and this particular array has a key which is the subcat ID. And the subcat ID, that thing is going to have a value that's equal to the num items in the subcat. Does that make sense? I do hope that that makes sense. Now, just to show you what's happening here, let's pause and take a breather and I'll show you what's going on, okay? If we say something like for each, and we'll say num items count as key loading up value, right? So I'll just say echo key of key has value of value. I'll do a new line, and then I'll do a die statement. Check this out. I'm going to go in here, go into the home page, and what it's saying is key of 2 has a value of 50. Key of 12 has a value of 2. Okay, we've just built that array up. So in other words, what it's saying is it's saying that the num items count of 2 equals 50, and then it's saying that the num items count of, what was it again, 12 equals 2. What does this mean? It means that the category ID of 2 has got 50 items, and the category ID of 12 has got only 2 items. That's perfect. That matches everything up and all makes perfect sense. So now we need to ask a question. Which category or in this array, okay, which array key, in other words, which array key is paired with the highest value? That's the question that we need to ask at this stage. Okay? Which array key is paired with the highest value? Well, check this out. If we open up store categories, do you remember a while ago we did this thing where we made up some users, Han, Luke, Chewie and all that, and we said get oldest user? Well, I'm going to copy that. Maybe I should have had that in here in store items, but I'm going to copy get oldest user, and I'm going to call this get best array key, something like that, okay? And it's going to take in that stuff. It's all of the stuff, okay? And I'm going to say best. Actually, I'm not going to say best. I'm just going to say subcat ID equals this. Get the best array key. And it's going to be doing that with what? It's going to be doing that with num items count. Okay, with this array up here. And that, my friends, is the subcat ID that we want to use. So there is the code in all its glory. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. The code's easy, but the logic is a wee bit tricky, you know. So let's check this out. I'm going to go to the home page and I'm going to click straight into the thing. Oh gee, sorry. Okay. Let me just do this here. Echo subcat ID die. Right, here we go again. I'm going to go straight in. Right, the subcat ID is 2. Okay, so get best subcat ID. We've got the subcat ID. We need to return the subcat ID. That's why we had the error message. So if we take this out, this is all cool. I am very happy with this code. I've not even checked it or anything, but I think it's going to be cool, right? So I'm going to go to the home page. I'm going to click in. And look at this, Fender guitars. Wonderful. Lots of guitars. It's fantastic. We go into folk instruments. Look. Stringed folk instruments. See? Cool. We go back in via Fender guitars again. It knows to say Fender guitars. We come in from Google. It shows us the best subcategory. See? See? So that is not too bad. And now, you know why I was mentioning this stuff earlier on. We can take this out and we can declare that we are now finished with breadcrumbs. Obviously, you can add breadcrumbs to other pages and all of that. Maybe I'll do that later on, but I think that'll do us for now. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.